Hold it right there. Hold it right there. Are you telling me that Vince Velasquez actually pitched a pretty decent game? He pitched a pretty decent game, did he not? I would never have guessed that, from how terrible he was throughout the entire season in a game when we desperately needed him to pitch a good game, where we desperately needed him to because of how depleted our starting rotation is with injuries, with Arrieta out, with Howard out. The past 2 games, we got very good starting pitching. Not going with the doubleheader yesterday with the bullpen game. I'm talking about more of the Zach Eflin start as well. In 2 starts where we needed guys like Zach Eflin and Vince Velasquez to have good games. They have good games. And that's all you could ask for at that point. Zach Eflin with a complete game a couple days ago. And then Vince Velasquez. Even though the pitch count, it was questionable. The pitch count early was very questionable. He had I think around 70 pitches going into the 4th inning. That's not very ideal. You don't want that type of pitch count going into the 4th inning. But he manages to settle down still throughout the entire ball game and goes 6 innings strong with a little bit over 100 pitches. Vince Velasquez gave the Phillies a chance to win. He only allows 1 run on the night. And also the bullpen. The bullpen shut down the door. That once, was it a blue moon out? Is it a blue moon out right now that the bullpen actually did their job? Phelps, Parker, Tommy Hunter closing the game out. The bullpen actually did their damn job for once. It's am I asleep right now? Do I have to pinch myself to wake up? It's astonishing. It's amazing how the bullpen was able to do their job. Vince Velasquez's performance tonight. Can we keep it going? I don't know, but I'm happy. I am very, very happy. And if you look at the stat line tonight, for the pitching staff, Vince Velasquez, 6 strong innings, 2 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts with 1 home run allowed, and that was the only Blue Jays run of the ball game. And then you go into the bullpen, each guy goes an inning strong, does not allow a hit. Parker goes 1 inning, gets 1 strikeout. Phelps goes 1 inning, gets 2 strikeouts. Same thing with Tommy Hunter, shutting the door down. 1 inning, 2 strikeouts, no hits allowed by the bullpen. Blue Jays, they only had 2 hits in today's game, and one of those was a home run. They only had 2 hits. In the Phillies' standpoint, for their offense, I think 8 out of the 9 hits that they had in this ball game were singles, and one of that last hit was an extra base hit by Jay Bruce in the 5th inning. So the Phillies, they were, I guess you could say they were playing small ball, and they managed to score runs in this ball game off of the small ball, thankfully. Hyun-Jin Ryu on the mound for the Blue Jays, he honestly was pretty good. He's a very deceptive pitcher. He's very finesse, and he's going to get you off balance every single time on the mound and in the batter's box. He was good, and he made a lot of our hitters off balance, but we managed to get to him in the 5th inning, which was very good by the offense right there to get a couple runs scored in that 5th inning. And if you look at and also the one thing I wanted to bring up, when the ball game just started, and Vince Velasquez, it was he was losing command, he was losing location very early in this ball game. He leads it to a walk to start off to Calvin Biggio, and and you already get Joe Girardi, get the training staff out there, and it's just oh my God, what the hell just happened? Is Vince Velasquez hurt? What just happened? But then he's starting to wave over towards the umpires and the grounds crew because he wants something done to the mound because he's kicking it a little bit. Maybe he was getting stuck. Maybe he was slipping a little bit. He wanted the grounds crew to come shape up the mound a little bit better. And they did that. It took a little bit, but maybe that benefited Vince Velasquez right there. Maybe that fixing the mound helped him right there. The Blue Jays, they got a couple base runners on in that 1st inning, did not manage to score a run. He got out of it. The pitch count was very high. Like I said, going through the first 4 innings, he had around 70 pitches, which is not ideal. But he still managed to go 6 innings strong, which is honestly the best you're probably going to get from Vince Velasquez. He's not a guy that's going to go deep into the ball game. So you hope and pray that he goes 6 innings like he did tonight. And like I said, this was a game you needed from Vince Velasquez to at least pitch good, and he did more than that. He went 6 strong innings, and he pitched decent. He only made one mistake, and that was the home run to Travis Shaw, which was in the 5th inning. And that was a moonshot, and it made it 1-0 Toronto in the top of the 5th inning. But the Phillies respond right after that in the bottom of the 5th. Jay Bruce gets on with a double. Andrew Knapp singles him home. And then Adam Haseley gets a single. Got Andrew Knapp and Adam Haseley on. Andrew McCutchen singles. Drives in Knapp home. Bryce Harper gets on with a single. Then you get a bases loaded opportunity for Gene Segura and he strikes out. Then you get a bases loaded opportunity for Didi Gregorius and he lines out. So the Phillies, they do score 2 runs in this inning. But they get the bases loaded with 1 out. So you were kind of hoping that they scored a couple more runs, gets a little bit more cushion on the board, because we know with this bullpen, you need runs. You need runs with this bullpen coming into the ballgame at this point. But Vince Velasquez comes in at the top of the 6th inning, shuts the door down, and basically, it's been the same note from there. The Phillies, they tack on another run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Adam Haseley gets an RBI single, makes it 3-1. But we do get another bases loaded opportunity, and we can't cash in. Andrew McCutchen has the bases loaded with 2 outs, and he strikes out. So you wish they would score with the bases loaded. You honestly wish they would. Adam Haseley did chip in with the bases loaded, but you kind of wish McCutchen would just add on a few more runs. That's like what we're praying for right here. Just tack on a couple more runs. Just tack it on. But then the bullpen, they do their job. 7th inning, Parker comes in, shuts it down. Phelps comes in the 8th, shuts it down. Tommy Hunter comes in. He was the guy that was pissed off at the media and everyone calling out the bullpen for being terrible. What was that, like so many weeks ago? And he had some dominant moments this year. He had his terrible moments too. This was a very good moment for him. Shuts down the door, saves the game, seals it all for the Phillies as they win by a score of 3-1. And it's a good ball game right here. The Phillies win the first 3 games out of this series with the Toronto Blue Jays. They win the series at 3-4 at this point. They got another game tomorrow to hopefully sweep off the series. We could hopefully do that. That would be very amazing if we can sweep off the Toronto Blue Jays. And Toronto, honestly, they've been struggling coming into this offensively. Game 1, they scored none. In the Game 2 in the doubleheader, you would have expected them to score at least because it was a bullpen game. In this Game 2, they only put 1 run on the board. So Toronto, they're a little bit struggling offensively a little bit, but we got something interesting for the Phillies tomorrow. Adonis Medina is going to be making his first major league start in tomorrow's ball game. He was, I would say a couple of years ago, maybe 1 or 2, he was one of the Phillies' top pitching prospects. This was like after Sixto Sanchez was traded. Honestly, this was before Sixto was traded, but he was one of our top pitching prospects. Also with Spencer Howard in that mix as well. But then when Sixto's gone, Spencer Howard becomes our top pitching prospect, and then you get Medina down there in the mix as well. So it's he's going to be making his first major league appearance. I think if you look at his stat line throughout the minors, he hasn't made it to AAA yet. He's been in AA and most likely with the taxi squad this year. He's not probably getting that many appearances down there, but there really hasn't been that big of a scouting report for him this year. But he's going to be making his first major league start. I read in his scouting report that he has 3 pitches. He has a fastball, sinker, and a changeup. So hopefully he can utilize those 3 pitches and maybe find a way to get some confidence going in his first start, because you definitely know the nerves are going to be there. And going up against even though it's a powerhouse that's struggling right now with the young guns and the Blue Jays lineup, I almost called them Maple Leafs for a second. Got too much hockey on the mind because I was also flipping back and forth with the Stanley Cup final, Dallas and Tampa Bay. But that's going to be another video, and probably the next little bit right here that's going to be uploaded after this. But going back to the Blue Jays, they have a young powerhouse lineup. They can hit all around the board. And that's going to be a tough task for a guy like Adonis Medina to come in. There's definitely going to be some nerves. There's going to be some, hopefully not as many shaky moments. Hopefully he comes in, takes the moment, absorbs it, and he finds a way to pitch a good game tomorrow. Not expecting too much, but hopefully he can find a way to surprise us. Because there's been a lot of pitchers around Major League Baseball this year, a lot of young pitchers that have been called up, and they've been really good. Especially the kid that just got called up for the White Sox, who was literally just drafted this year. And he was coming out of the bullpen clocking 101 miles an hour. Like, come on! Like, why can't the Phillies get a pitcher that comes up and do this? Even though we got Alec Bohm and he's hitting like a maniac out there right now. Can we just get a pitcher that does that? That'd be very nice. I guess you could say Jojo Romero out of the bullpen. But even though he had his bad outing yesterday, he's been one of our most that gets consistent bullpen pitchers since being called up. But it would be nice for a starting pitcher to actually come up and do some damage. A young guy in his first major league appearance. Spencer Howard, even though he's our top pitching top pitching prospect, he's been very underwhelming this season, adjusting to the major league level. Hopefully he can find a way, even though he's injured right now, to find a way to work out of that. And hopefully this is Adonis Medina's chance to make a name for himself. Maybe be a guy that comes up next year, because even though this is probably going to be his only start this year, just because of all the situation that's going on right now, who knows, maybe he does get another start down the rest of the line, just because we have another doubleheader coming up against the Washington Nationals, and then you have the final series against the Tampa Bay Rays at the end of the week next week. So it's going to be some interesting moments right here. And if you look at the standings right now, I think going into this ball game, the Phillies were in that top wildcard spot at the time. And if you look at the wildcard spot right now, MLB.com is being very weird with the wildcard right now. The Phillies are in that first wildcard spot. I think they're fighting right now between the Cardinals, the Reds, the Brewers, and the Giants. But the Phillies right now, they hold that second wildcard spot. And they're a game and a half above in the first wildcard spot at this point. And I think right now they're a half game behind the Miami Marlins. And I want to see if the Marlins are playing right now. That'd be something I want to see right there. Miami Marlins, let's see. What's the score of their game? Score of their game. That's what I want to see right there. Miami Marlins. Miami Marlins. Where the hell are they? Where the hell are there? They are. And they won today against the Washington Nationals. So the Phillies, they still are that half game behind second place. So it's going to be a battle right here for the Phillies going into the end of the season. So we get this last game against Toronto. We get the 4-game series against Washington with the doubleheader included in that. And then you get the final 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. So it's going to be a weird stretch going right here because we're fighting right now with Miami, with Cincinnati, with St. Louis, with Milwaukee, with San Francisco, even though they're on a little bit of a skid right there. It's going to be a important task right here just because the Blue Jays, they're struggling right now. We just won 3 games in this series. Find a way to close it out tomorrow. Maybe get a sweep in this series. Washington, they're not the strongest of teams. They are not that good this year, and they've been playing like they're not that good. So, in the Phillies, they have been winning their games against Washington this year, so maybe that's a bright spot going into that. So, I feel like going in towards the end of the season, I feel like out of every team that's in this wild card race, even though this is the Phillies, like this is their ride right here, they control their own destiny. I think the Phillies have somewhat of the more easier schedule going towards the end of the season just because you play Washington and you beat them a bunch this amount of times this year. But then you're going against Tampa Bay, who is the top seed in the American League East. Even though they've already clinched their spot. They clinched their spot. And it's, who knows going into that series, maybe Tampa Bay rest a couple of guys. Maybe don't start their main guys and they go with a little bit of guys off the bench for that series. Maybe that benefits the Phillies. You just never know. Right now, the Phillies control their own destiny, and right now they're playing very good baseball. Taking 3 games from the Blue Jays. Hopefully go for the sweep tomorrow. Let's see if they can do that. Got Adonis Medina on the mound making his first Major League start. Hopefully that goes good. All the luck to him. And it's going to be an interesting ride right here. It's going to be an interesting ride. Bryce Harper, you can definitely tell, he's heating up. Bryce Harper is definitely heating up, and I forgot to look at to tell you guys the lineup score for tonight's game. We got Andrew McCutchen going 1 for 3 with the RBI. Bryce Harper going 1 for 4. Sheehan Segura going 0 for 4. It was his first game back in the lineup. Not very little bit shaky at the plate. Didi Gregorius goes 0 for 4. Phil Gosselin 1 for 4. Jay Bruce 1 for 3. Scott Kingery 1 for 3. Andrew Knapp 2 for 3 with the RBI. And Adam Haseley 2 for 4 with an RBI. Alec Boehm not in the lineup just because he was experiencing some stomach pains. There were reports saying that he ate something a little bit off and it made his stomach a little bit funky. So he was feeling a lot of pain in his stomach, so he didn't play this game. He was sent home. Nothing really COVID related, as the reports were saying. He mainly just ate something that made him feel a little bit off in his stomach. So who knows if he's going to be playing tomorrow. That's going to be something questionable for that too. Just because how hot Alec Boehm was at the plate. Hopefully that stomach doesn't affect anything either. But that's definitely something we don't need. But I'm not going to look down that road right now. Let Alec Boehm heal up with that stomach. Let him be better for if he plays tomorrow or he gets prepared for the National Series. So it's a good win by the Phillies. Good win. Vince Velasquez did what he needed to do. And that's all we could have asked him to do. He gets the win. He goes to 6 innings. And you look good. That's all we can ask him to do. The bullpen shut the door down. And we managed to score the runs when we had the opportunities. And mainly using the singles. Mainly using small ball, which is very good. Credit also to the Blue Jays making some sloppy mistakes in the infield as well. So it's a good win by the Phillies. We're getting some wins right now. We're 2 games above 500, 27 and 25. So let's see what the Phillies can do. They control their own destiny at this point. So let's see what can happen going down the stretch. So what are your thoughts on this win by the Phillies? What are your thoughts on what they can do tomorrow with Adonis Medina on the mound? And what do you think is going to happen going down the stretch now that the Phillies basically at this point control their own destiny? So don't forget to leave your comments down in the comments section. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.